Barricade HD4 tubular style front bumper on your 2020 or newer JT Gladiator and want a bit more protection for your grille but don't want to swap out your bumper or do any additional work, this Barricade push bar for the HD4 tubular style front bumper should be on your short list. Now this addition is solid for the JT owner who is a fan of the tubular styling of the HD4 front bumper and wants to take it a step further with that styling and protection for the front end. Now that makes this a great option for any JT owner taking their Jeep off-road into any terrain where additional protection or front end protection may be necessary, like high brush and obstacles, and wants a bolt-on solution to their current setup. Now adding this push bar makes for a hybrid grille guard bumper combination, bolting right up to the bumper and covering a majority of the front end. Now not only does it offer more grille and side protection with the tubular extensions and the center bull bar, but the vertical uprights do come out from the bumper, offering some outward protection as well to any obstacles before they even have the chance to get to the front bumper. Now it also features a bottom bar for lower end protection, all while staying a bit more subtle compared to higher profile grille guards, and again bolts up right to the bumper compared to completely changing out your setup. This also works with the other upgrade accessories for this bumper if you did want to add the skid plate or winch tray, keeping your options open. This push bar is made of a tubular steel construction, just like the bumper, being strong and able to take some abuse if needed. Now on top is a textured black powder coat finish, blending into the bumper build, making for a heavy duty appearance, and of course protecting the steel underneath from any rusting over time. Now it's also a direct bolt-on install for no questions asked, and it comes with all of the hardware and everything that's needed in order to do so. This is about $275, and in comparison to other choices for front end protection, that is fairly affordable. Now this, however, is unique in the case that it's only for the HD4 front bumper and is an addition rather than a standalone part, but in comparison to other grille guards and even bull bar options, this allows you to have that 2-in-1 bumper grille guard combination as opposed to adding it to the factory front bumper. It also allows you to just build off of your bumper and ultimately your Jeep how you want to over time, making it a fantastic pick. Install here is an easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Honestly, it's a few bolts in order to get this mounted up, and it should only take about an hour or so in order to install. However, at this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers, and they're going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can bolt this up to your HD4 front bumper at home. So that wraps it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, ratchet, rubber mallet, 13mm wrench, 5mm Allen wrench, a swivel adapter, and 13 and 18mm sockets.
What's up guys? Today we're installing a push bar on our Barricade front bumper, so let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is remove our cover plates. I've got a 4mm Allen wrench I'm going to use to remove these 4 bolts. Do that same thing on the other side. Next we need to remove our top hoop here. We've got our 2 bolts. Next we need to remove our top hoop. We've got our 2 bolts here. You're gonna need a 5mm Allen wrench on the bolt head, and then you can get right up here behind the tow hook with a 13mm wrench to hold that nut. And then the rear one, take your 13mm wrench from behind the bumper, get on that nut. And then you can do the same thing on the other side and remove your bar. Next we need to hop underneath our bumper. We're gonna remove the nuts on our double bolt plate, and then we have to tap our double bolt plate out. So grab an 18mm swivel socket and pull these off. And now I'm just gonna take a rubber mallet and just tap my studs and back them out. And then from the other side, I can just wheel it the rest of the way out. Do that same thing on the other side.
So now I've got my buddy here to help me lift this up. We're putting in our double bolt plates the same way they came out, and then I'll get the hardware on the back while he holds this. Next, we're gonna install our sidebar here. Now we have 2 caps for our holes, so I'm gonna cap those off. Just press those plugs in. And then we're gonna be pulling out the bigger plug. Now you can grab your bar. I'm gonna take our combo bolt through the bottom here and just get a couple threads started. And I'll rotate that up. And then we have our Allen bolts. And we're gonna use to bolt this to the main section here. So you're gonna take an Allen bolt with a small flat washer, put that going from the outside in. And then we have a bigger flat washer, a lock washer, and a nut that are going on the inside. Now just do that same thing on your bottom bolt. And now with our 2 bolts installed, we can just straighten this out and then we'll tighten those down. Now come to that outer bolt from underneath, take a 13mm socket, tighten this down, and then repeat the same thing on the other side. Now we're gonna go back underneath and tighten down our 2 frame bolts with an 18mm socket. Then do the same thing on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Barricade push bar for HD4 tubular style front bumper only for your 2020 and newer Jeep Gladiator JT. Thank you for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.